Hello everyone, welcome to TCG 353. I am Jamie. Today we're playing a very cool build of Green Yellow Law, Triller Bark and Slash Hybrid. Let's get right into the games because I know you guys like to just watch the gameplay. First game up against Purple Black Luffy. We choose to go second. Play out a Perona Searcher, searching Slash attribute characters, which is the idea of this deck. Pull out a Cavendish and use this second Perona Searcher, which is searching for Trillerbark and Muggy Pirates, and it trashes one as well, which is normally, or may sound like a bit of a negative, but really with this deck it's very, very useful because we can get our Trillerbark trash set up immediately, which does come up fairly often. We play out the Airlong, attach one rested onto our leader, which is huge for this ability because we're able to bounce our searchers back to hand. Or Perona Search being a 2k and bouncing back to hand is really defensive, and it's also very good for utility because we're able to then search again for more Triller Bark. But at the moment our hand is looking pretty nice. We might not need to search again. Our next turn will be going into 6th on also, so there's some cool options that we have coming up. Our opponent's doing 7 to us, we take that and we consider what we can do. Just thinking about how we're going to apportion our swings, because we were always really going to be playing that Cavendish. We attach a Don to the opponent character. It doesn't matter all that much. Consider attaching active Don, but I mean, if they gum giant, they're at the loss. And we choose to search out with our Perona. The fun thing about this Perona is that it searches Mihawk as well, which is part of the reason we're running the A cost. So we search out we use the Perona, we find a 2k Mihawk, put it to hand, and then bounce the Perona back to our hand to consider playing it again. Swing another 6. It's just nice for us to whittle down their hand size. We figure they're going to take this since they gave us a 2k already. You will notice in this build here, we're using the Ryuma. I cut the Ryuma. It comes up often enough, but the deck that I've shown you at the start is stronger for more consistency and for more heal. We just swapped the Zoran for the Ryuma. It was an easy swap. Our opponent plays down the 6 cost Luffy to go 7k, and with this Beppo effect they swing 9 because Beppo adds 1000 power if you negate Don. We play out our Mihawk on curve, getting 4 Don restanded, which is an AK blocker for 4 Don. Is awesome. We have a Cavendish, so we swing that just to get the Don. And look, we do something cool here. We play out 8. For 8 on our 8 on turn, we play Mihawk, we play Law, and we play Bonnie. We trash 2, draw 1. We're able to attach it onto leader because of Bonnie effect and bounce a searcher back to hand. Okay, we didn't swing, so it wasn't all that aggressive, but a hugely aggressive or defensive turn to set our board up very, very nicely. We have 2 blockers here now, and we have this Bonnie as well. So we'll see what happens here now. Our opponent swings 7, we take, because we're just eyeing up what we need for counter. We choose to counter out here with our Mihawk and think about what to do next. Our opponent swings into us, thinking they can get hand. I think they're just looking for counter. Either way, we were going to 2k and 1k with our other blocker because we don't want to go down to 0 life so early. Our hand is stacked full of 2Ks, so what we're going to do now is play a bit defensive. Never mind that, we'll play with the Gecko Moria, add it to the top of the life. So now we have 2 life, we're going to swing 7 because we can. Okay, swing 7 here, our opponent considers what to do. And we play out this Supernova Freeze event, which is very, very good in this deck. It's searchable by Perona also, which is great. So now we have 3 blockers up. We have a Cavendish on board, and we have the Gecko Moria with 2 life. And I'm not sure what our trash is looking like, but I wouldn't doubt that we have characters in trash. If we don't, it's just a free 1k and a heal, which is awesome as well. We are thinking what to do here. We're going to swing 10 just as a sort of check to see what our opponent is thinking. They did go up to 7k because they played down this Promo Roger last turn, so we're just going to swing and swing and swing. See if we can get some cards out of hand. We swing with our blocker there because we need to play over something. And so we choose to play over our blocker because it's not a blocker this turn anyway. It won't be for a while since we are on 3 Don. We choose to swing with Yes, we do. We choose to swing with our Mihawk because we want them down to 0 life. They can't kill us next turn. We have too much health. We also have another blocker up, and we have, what is that, 10, 11k counter in hand. So we're in a very strong position here. Our opponent considers what to do and thinks on it, which is fine. Maybe they're thinking they can apportion down, they can't, which is unfortunate for them. It's great for us. That being said, our opponent plays down a Sanji Rush, which is interesting. So they freeze our Bonnie blocker. They're able to do a -2 Dawn and draw or an active Dawn back. So now they're standing at 3 Dawn with 3 Dawn and swing 7 will lead. We consider what to do here. A bit of a misplay. We use trigger effect when we should have just taken the counter into hand. Triggering around a body here doesn't freeze anything, and bringing a 5k out would be less beneficial to us than a 6k on board. Just a small little error there. We could have frozen the Beppo, but the Beppo was not able to swing. So now our opponent has 1 Dawn up, isn't going to go 7k next turn. So they probably have a Gum Giant. So now we're just poking with our big bodies, which we have a lot of with the 2 Gekimoris on board. Our opponent thinks a little bit on how they're going to defend or how they want to swing last light with their last character. Because we have so much counter, we're not going to give them that. They might be thinking that this Cavendish is a valuable target, and it is, I guess it is. But our next turn we're going to be attaching on, so it's not going to get us anything back active. We see our opponent gives us 2 1Ks after the Gum Giant, which is a telltale sign things are going a bit rough. Our opponent triggers something, gets the trigger effect of the Black Spiral, Black Vortex, and also it was a good game from our opponent. We were able to lock down their 2 7 costs quite early in the game and then just repeat that throughout, so they weren't able to activate their Luffy swing to become a 7k leader or their Luffy rusher to swing twice in a turn, which is very fortunate for us, unfortunate for our opponent. Part of the reason we run this Perona searcher as well is to find green events. On to our next game now against Triller Bark Echo Moria. We are also running Triller Bark, so we'll see what happens. We use our 2 searchers there and we trash. Unfortunately, we don't trash a Triller Bark, and we search out a Mihawk rather. So we'll now see what to do. Our opponent swings 8, and that's why it was unfortunate, because our first life is a trigger, but we don't have a body in life. Thinking of what to do here, we'll swing 5 first just to test the waters, and we will go and use our Zoro effect to trash. It would have been nicer if we were able to use Mihawk into Zoro, which is a very nice combo that this deck can do quite often. It's just we had 2 searchers on the board already, and we wouldn't have had enough cost on board to be able to bounce that Mihawk or bounce the Perona back. Our opponent now is going through the phases. Dr. Hogback out, which pulls a Triller Bark from trash to their hand, which is very useful for them to just correct their tempo. They draw Perona from trash, which is the freeze Perona, very cool. And we still don't have Triller Barks in trash, which is very, very unfortunate. So we can't trigger out another Triller Bark. I will say this doesn't happen all too often with the deck, in all fairness to it. Because we have the Perona Searcher, and I mean, all the Triller Bark we're using is counter. But it was unfortunate there. We're able to use the 6 cost bounce law, bounce a 2k back to hand, and play out our Dr. Hogback. So all is right in the world. This Dr. Hogback is finally giving us value. And now we are seeing the board state of Triller Bark Pirates. Our opponent swings 7 into Zora. We counter out of this, right? Because we're pretty sure they're going to want to play this 6 cost on curve, and we don't want to give them more value than what they're going to have anyway. They swing 7 into 5. We are going to counter out of this one as well, because 1, we don't have a Triller Bark in trash, so it would just be an awful waste, and we don't want our board set to fall behind, or we don't want to lose the aggression right here and right now, because they're going to be freezing us quite often. So we're just going to swing and swing and swing. Very fortunate there. Our opponent doesn't have any triggers, which is great. And we are now thinking, we can see that we have a Triller Bark up top of life. another trigger, and still no Peronas in hand. We didn't search out any Peronas, which was unfortunate as well. There could have been an argument to use the hogback and bounce the hogback back to hand and then use it for counter. But we only seen the top of life after the fact. We bounced a card back to hand, and it's always more useful to bounce your searchers back. So now we are fighting for board. This is a big game of board control between myself and my opponent, which we don't really want to lose, especially that they're on one life, and we are pretty certain they're either going to play a Boa Hancock, which they do, or get Moria. So we want to protect our board as much as we can because we need to start knocking their board down. And also, if you know what their board looks like at the moment, they don't have bodies on board that trigger on debt. So we definitely do want to take them out. I remember this. Our opponent takes a little long here, but that is, for me, for the matchups against Gecko Moria, which I really don't like playing. I usually try and focus in on these characters that are on board that not like the yellow hogback or not like the yellow Perona, or mostly the yellow hogback. Yellow Perona freezes as well, so always be mindful of that. But these characters here, they don't do anything once they're KO'd, so you do want them gone. And you see here we swung 7 into their hogback, and we're going to swing 11 into their Moria. They thought so much about the last swing that I was thinking maybe they have 2 and a 1, so we tested to see if they have a 2 and a 1. They don't, and we swing 6 into life just to get it down. We do risk the trigger, and they get the trigger, but there wasn't so many triggers off life that scared us that much. If they got a Perona freeze, that was fine. But they did get the hogback to get another 6 cost Moria into life to do some shenanigans later on. We have a AK blocker up. They have the Boa Hancock, which is a great card. They play out this Moria straight away and play a Zoro, which heals for them. So now our opponent is from 1 life to 3 life in 1 turn, which is really strong. Uses a Sindri to get their board up in power, which maybe wasn't the right move because they just gave us a 2k in hand. And if they're not able to take out this board effectively, then they can't do much. They're not going to win the game, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in a second. We're considering whether we'll counter here or we'll block. We choose to block because it's free. Just the way the numbers are working out, we will lose bodies, but we won't lose them all. And our most important bodies for us at the moment are the Mihawks. So now we will consider, okay, how much can this boa swing? This boa can swing 11, and we have 4k counter perfectly. So we are going to use it. Yes, we are. And we pull into a Moria up top. So now we have a decision whether we want to bounce the Zoro back to hand, or will we use the Moria? And we're just thinking about that for a second. We choose to use the Zoro. Swing 2. What does our opponent do? They take this. And so now we're looking at what numbers do we want to swing here. We swing 8. And because they take the first 8, we're thinking, okay, we're going to swing another 8, see what happens. And our opponent concedes. Good game to our opponent. We just matted them out at the end, but that first poke was very important. Just the 2 on assured us that we could still use the Moria, and also that we were able to use the Law as well with 2 down up. Very strong, and we would have had 3 blockers up. I think we would have been in a safe spot. Let's get into the next game, which is against Purple Enel. Very, very good game so far. Hope you're enjoying it. We are unfortunate in that our opponent gets the right curve and they get home straight away, and we don't find anything to search out. So it is looking difficult for us, but we do have this Mihawk. Having this Mihawk in hand means we can put 2 bodies on board on our first turn, which is very strong. Our opponent swings 6, and we consider how to counter here. If we counter it with the 2k, we lose the tempo from the Mihawk, so we choose not to. We counter up with 1 hogback because we learned our lesson from the first game, and look, it pays off. We're able to get a hogback onto the field, and we are okay now with giving up the Mihawk because we already have a body on board, so we give that away for counter, and we swing 6 by attaching it on with the Erlang ability. Erlang is a great body to have for our leader ability. We have the option here if we want to bounce the hogback back, which we don't choose to take because it is a very strong character on board. Our opponent may want to swing into it, which is of benefit to us, absolutely. Now, our hand size is a bit of a trouble, but we have very strong tempo if we're allowed to get it off. We have the six cost law bounce into the 8 cost Mihawk, which is very strong. Our opponent freezes the Hogback, so I'm thinking, okay, this Hogback's probably not going to stay around too long, and they swing into the Arlon. And now this is something I didn't notice before, so I froze their Foxy, and okay, it's going to be trash, that's fine. But I froze one of their Dons as well, which they minus back the deck, and that just basically means that that Don is no longer frozen, which I was sad about. I was hoping that they weren't going to be able to get a 6 cost Enel on curve. While I was yapping, we played a Cavendish and we swung. We played a bounce law and we pulled a Cavendish from top of the deck, and we swung 7 with the 2 Don that we got from the Cavendish. We're going to trash the Hogback because, one, it's great to have Triller Bark and trash, and also we just don't want to lose it. We know they're going to swing home into life. There we go. Trigger effect was useful, and we get a Perona search from the trigger, from the double attack. We take the free block here because we're on 1 life, and now we have 4 down. From our Mihawk, we swing 7, so we go up to 5. So we go up even more, swing another 7. We're just thinking about how we want to swing these and who we want to swing with. We choose to swing with Hogback. Their double attack doesn't matter to us too much, and our opponent gives us the block. And so we choose to freeze the blocker, and we choose to freeze the heat, because the heat can go 6k naturally, whereas the Ohm now, his double attack doesn't matter all that much. It's just a 4k body. So our opponent is thinking on what to do. Our board state is much stronger than our opponent's, but our hand size is non-existent. So depending on what our opponent wants to do next turn, it could mean something good for us. We also have an AK blocker on board, so them swinging into our bodies is more difficult now. Okay, so they pulled the Divine Departure and are able to minus AK to our Mihawk, which is rough to say the least. They Mamarag in the Mihawk, and we'll see what they do now. They L-Tor the Mihawk after using Mamaragan, which is just cruelty, and now we're waiting to see what fate is in store for us. They give their dog plus 1000 power with this L-Tor, and they swing, what's the number, 9 into our life. Played an Ohm to draw a card. It could have been better for them to swing 9 into one of our bodies, and they would have got it too, but they didn't, thankfully enough. They swing 7 into us. We can block in 2k, which is what we're going to do. Yep, that's what we're going to do. And now, look, there's nothing for us to do really but to swing a bunch and hope we hit. We swing 7 at the start. We swing another 7 because we're asking for 2 cards from hand, and now it's just a case of 3 and 3. It could have been 2 and 4, but I chose 3 and 3 here. Just because they took the first swing, I didn't feel like they had a 2k in hand, and if they drew 2ks off life, that's fair. Mamaragan scared us a lot, and they had enough counter to give us a heart attack, but not enough counter to save their board. Good game to our opponents. I hope you enjoyed these games and this green yellow law deck list. I know you guys liked the first one, and you talked about different deck list ideas with me in the comments, so I said I'd make this, run through some games on the sim, and see if you guys enjoyed it enough to watch till the end. If you're still here, thanks very much for watching. I'll run through the deck list really quickly and just talk about some of the more important cards, but yeah, if you're here, thanks so much for watching. Really enjoyed doing this stuff, so if you want to keep on watching me, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button and all that stuff. So let's talk about the deck now. Okay, so here we are looking at the deck. We have some of the options for tech at the start, so you can check those out already. What our main idea of this deck is to use this law for aggro at the start, so we're mulligan hard for it. If we can't get the law from the hand, then we are hoping for searchers, because with our law ability we can bounce searchers back. One of the more overlooked parts of this ability is that you can bounce a card back to hand. Okay, we're only running 6 supernovas, so getting it from life is quite rare, and we don't have any ways to add cards to life in a way that we can control, which is maybe a limitation of the deck building, but our triggers are from Triller Bark, which is the idea of this deck, and also a lot of slash characters. Bonnie is really useful to have to draw 2 trash ones, so we can trash Triller Barks. We have trash built in with our Perona also, and also with our Zoro. The Zoro synergy with the 6 cost Law is very nice as well. You play a Zoro on a 4 down turn. You trash a card, draw a life, and then swing with Zoro next turn. 6 cost Law, bounce back to hand, and then bring it out again, so you get another life. Okay, you lose on card size, but the idea of this deck is to be very, very aggressive early on, and you're hoping to trigger out cards from your life so you can keep on swinging. Which is why we use this Mihawk. This Mihawk can be a finisher for us quite easily. It bringing in 4 Dawn is huge for us because we want to swing with our board as much as possible. Having on KO effects like Hogback and Perona makes it so our opponent doesn't want to swing into life. Same with the Erlong. Opponent doesn't want to swing into their life. Our Cavendish is target number 1, and sometimes it will go, which is, look, it's fine enough. Our big boss character, Mihawk, great character in this deck, and we have our Gecko Moria for the heal, which if you're running Triller Barks, you want to use Gecko Moria. Also, our Zoro is findable with this also, which is very, very useful because you can trigger this from life and gain a life and put out a 6k body. Very strong. All in all, great deck. Hope you enjoyed the theory craft behind it and this little bit of deck building. If you want more in detail next time, just let me know. I think just going over it really quickly is more beneficial for you guys, just so you can go about your days and have a good time. I hope the games were fun for you and you like the concept behind this, all this stuff. If you like, hit a like and all that. Thanks for watching and have a good day. Bye now.